Hey everyone, this is Kat of Catalyst Holistic Life Coaching, bringing your life in alignment with you. And today I am here to do your reading for the new moon in Aries, which we just had on the 24th, which was yesterday morning. And so we're all still here, we're all kind of still going through this energy together. And with the new moon in Aries, the Aries sign is the beginning of the zodiac, and we're also in the sun sign of Aries. So the sun and the moon are meeting in this kind of new beginning. We're officially in spring, so things are being planted to grow into something new. And I think this is starting to really kind of till up those things for us of how we want to make these big changes, because obviously things are not working currently, and a lot of our wounding and a lot of our shadow is kind of being revealed to us in all aspects of our lives, personally and outside of ourselves. So what kind of changes do we want to be making to implement into a better new way of living? So today I'm using the Shadowscapes Tarot, we have the Moonology, and then I'm using the Goddess Guidance deck from Doreen Virtue. So this is just kind of for the general collective, it's not for anyone specific. If you do want a personal reading, I am doing them off of donation base. So if you want to see what kind of energy is playing out for you, feel free to reach out to me or read more about it. Okay, so using the tarot to kind of talk about what the overall energy of this moon is going to be, the overall energy for the next 2 weeks. The first card we have is the King of Pentacles in the reverse. So, yeah, this ungrounded, uncertain energy, this kind of foundation that we had before is just uprooted. Our things that were overseeing us, our ruler, our money, everything is kind of upended, and we're trying to find that inner groundedness again. We're trying to reset our roots. We're trying to plant this new seed. Where are we going to ground into now that everything is so uncertain? And how are we going to find our own inner strength again instead of relying on this outside source? We're going to be turning more inwards and finding our own strength. How do we stand on our own and make our own support? And then, so we had 2 cards today. We also have the Seven of Pentacles. So a lot of earth energy, the stability, the physical, which we are all really in that kind of earthly sense. Like we're in the Muladhara, like chakra, like fear right now, because we don't know what's going to happen after all of this is over. Like everything is definitely changing, and I don't really get the feeling that it's going to be just going back to the way we were before. And so with the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse, this is normally about like looking back on what has grown and harvesting kind of the fruits of our labor, like tending to what's there. And instead, with it being in the reverse, now we're kind of taking this back and maybe being a little hard on ourselves, in the sense of we're just like, we're not really looking at where we came from. We're so focused on the now, and we're kind of making things scarce. Like we feel like we have this scarcity, we feel like we have nothing, and instead looking to our past for these lessons, like how have we gotten to where we are now, and how can we try to once again like plant something new, and kind of, even if it seems like everything is crumbling down, we still have something to build out of. That it's not, endings are not always this harsh thing. There's something that needs to bring balance. So we're kind of looking back on the past with a little bit of anger, or we feel like we're reliving the past and having to start over. But instead, we should have this focus that we're getting a chance to replant some new seeds and do things a little bit differently. Okay, so the first moon card represents what is rising up in the collective at this time, what kind of energy is being stirred up from this moon. So we have the supermoon, emotions are running high. I feel like that's obvious. um, the emotions are really heightened. People are afraid. We're kind of, sides are kind of being chosen, like politically and also just like friends wise. Everyone's kind of picking their place of how they're going to do this. And so we're being really just kind of thrown together. And with Aries, Aries is that first sign that represents the I am. So it's this very kind of individual focused energy. So we're kind of just, our emotions are running high because we don't know how to take care of ourselves. All of a sudden, we're sort of losing our way. So how can we kind of redirect that energy and like make ourselves feel secure instead, so that we can kind of learn to be in more of this grounded place, learn to kind of upright that energy and get our sense of awareness again, which direction to go. So the second card represents the main message of this new moon is the full moon in Virgo. You are good enough. So I think what this is saying is, because Virgo is an earth sign and there's a lot of earthly things, and I think we're really being challenged to look at, we are not our material things. We're not our money. We're not the physical things that surround us. Just us as ourselves is good enough. And I think it's that fear because it happens in our whole society, this kind of tier based off of how much money we make, what kind of things we have, and we're all starting to kind of lose that sense of self in a way of how am I not going to survive, like if we do kind of keep going down this path where things are going to stay shut down and businesses aren't going to open and millions of people are going to lose so much money. We're going to feel so lost because we weren't prepared for this. Nobody ever is. But remembering that you yourself are playing this huge part, we don't need all of these other things to define us. We have to remember that before any of this existed, we were just human beings. And that's what we have to go back to. So just remember that you are good enough. This moon is showing us not to be controlled by our emotions of fear, that we're not going to be enough, that we aren't going to survive, that we're not going to be taken care of because, especially with like Virgo earth signs, I feel this myself, where we're very independent, some of us, like we're very reliant on ourselves to make our world. And so we're kind of coming back to, again, how are we shifting our perspective from the I to contributing to the whole. Okay, so the last card represents the final outcome, which is the new moon in Sagittarius. Luck is on your side. So trusting and believing that as we get closer to the full moon, more things are going to be illuminated, and you could just be getting lucky through this. Like some wave of new information could come forward that could be inspiring to you and could actually be a new avenue of how you are helping people and also creating abundance for yourself. Or somebody could, if you're renting, your landlords could cut back on your rent if you're worried about that. Or you can find ways to, not have to pay full on your bills. Like just trusting that there's something working for you on your side. Not everything is as dark and gloomy as it may seem. Don't let these emotions, sometimes the moon can also be illusions, so don't let these emotions like get the best of you and start creating illusions of you have to struggle and you're not going to be provided for because some stroke of luck is coming your way. This is meant to be expansive for everyone. It may seem like everything is kind of crumbling down, but in order to have something new, we have to let go of something old. So trusting that it's all working out for the higher good. All right, so we have a few goddess energies working with us. So if you like to tap into goddess energy, or this is just something that you're feeling, tapping into the divine feminine, because I feel like this is also a balancing of that. We've been so much in the masculine energy, and now the feminine is coming in and just trying to work and heal this whole situation because we have just been overrun. So our first goddess we have is Nematona, of sacred space. Create an altar or visit a power place to connect with the divine. So if you have a practice, like a ritual practice of connecting with the moon, or you'd like to have an altar space where you maybe do your own card readings, or you sit and meditate, you have candles, you do yoga, whatever it is, try to create your own safe space. In your own home, kind of clear out the clutter and create something that makes you feel like you can ground down and connect and get away from this high emotional stuff. But getting that grounded energy and being able to kind of resettle and find your place where you can just meditate and feel good about yourself. And it doesn't have to be anything super complicated, but if you can create that energy of like, I'm here, this is my space, this is where I'm going to do my work. Like, it can even work as like an office. But specifically, this is asking you to connect to the divine. So whether that's just connecting with yourself or you have someone you work with personally, we're all being called towards something higher than ourselves. So finding that space for you. Our next goddess is Aracura, blossoming. You are just getting started, so have patience with yourself in the process. Do not give up. So again, that kind of expansive energy, believing you are good enough. Like, everyone is kind of being cracked open. Everything is being revealed to us of what we're holding on to, what needs growth, and what needs to keep moving forward. So even though we're kind of not sure where things are going, there's still growth going on collectively. There's still this like sudden spark. I see it in a lot of people where we're ready to speak up and make a difference. And so how to be gentle with yourself and be patient. Don't give up just because it seems like things aren't going to work out. Keep doing your work. Keep blooming out, and don't be afraid to show who you really are. And then our last goddess we have is Ishtar, of boundaries. Love yourself enough to say no to others' demands on your time and energy. So again, this kind of emotional barrier that's going on, don't get sucked into other people's craziness right now. If people are seeming like way too much, if you're getting sucked into something that is more draining than good, because it's good to talk about these things, it's good to discuss what's happening in the world, but if it really feels like something that's just like sucking you in and you're in this cycle over and over again, like, don't be afraid to have those boundaries for yourself. Like, shut these people out, don't let them take any more from you. And also having maybe people are demanding your help. I could see that for some of you. If someone is making demands on like your money, or you helping them and they're not doing a whole lot to give back, remember to give to yourself just as much. This is a situation where we have to find that balance. We all want to be helpful, but we also have to make sure that we're not overdoing it. So be really mindful of how you're giving your energy to people and how those people are reciprocating it back to you at this time. Okay? I think that's all I have to say on that one. Yeah. So, Yeah, I know it's getting crazy out there. It's getting overwhelming. And this is kind of a really potent, like now we're moving into this sort of fire energy, um, moving forward. So really over the next couple weeks, just watch your emotions and how you try not to have these outbursts. Try to find your groundedness in your sacred space, and don't let fear take over and control you. Okay? All right, so I hope you all are doing well. If that really resonated with you, please feel free to share with others. I am, loving to be a connection for healing and spiritual guidance in this time. So, again, my services are donation based at this time. So, if you feel called to get a reading or just want to do any sort of healing session with me, you can message me and we'll discuss whatever you need. So, stay safe out there, keep doing you, keep your hopes up. It's all going to work out for the best. Thanks again. Bye.